I realized I haven't done an update video on my 7¼ gauge railway for maybe even a year now. And since I'm filming this from the garage, you can probably guess that I still don't have a layout. But at least I consider the engine to be finished as it is now. And probably the things that I did since last time is I got the lights working, and I also installed some very simple sound in it. And so in addition to the electronics last time, I have an extra relay board here on the side. So I have the light switches which switch 24 volts, and then they drive relays, and then the relays switch the 12 volts, which is there is like a buck converter which converts the 24 volts down to 12 volts. So that operates the lamps. So I have headlights, I have red lights, I have the same on the other side. So I think it's 15 watt LEDs, the three, so pretty bright. And I have the red lights on the back as well. I also have cabin lights, so if it will be really dark, I can still see the controls. So that's quite nice. And I also installed a very simple sound unit, which is probably sold for toys, and it's a very simple single board chip. It has the chip has an internal memory which can store up to like 10 minutes of sound. So I installed three different horns from three different engines. So it sounds quite funny for somebody who knows the different engine sounds. And the last sound, the fourth sound, is like a station announcement saying that passenger trains are about to leave from, I think it says platform 1. Of course it's in Hungarian, but have a listen. So this is like a short horn, sorry, long one and a short one. And it's funny because it's like a $5 soundboard with an amplifier on it, and it is connected to some junk speaker which I have from my junk box. So I haven't invested a lot of money in it, but it works. It has well, at least a good sound here in the garage. I yet to see how it sounds open in the air, but that's pretty much it. And of course she runs as it did before. The other thing that I might not have shown is that I completed the driving truck. So it had this wooden base, and I fabricated this box out of plywood, and I have this long bench kind of seat on the top. So it's I did some upholstery from some leftover carpet material, and you know, it works. I think the springs are, well, I know that the springs are a little bit weak, so I just need to get some heavy, more heavy duty springs, because it basically goes all the way down under my weight. So obviously there's two remedy to that. I can't lose weight fast enough, so I need to find some stronger springs. And what you can see here in the background is I'm working on the remaining 3 coaches. So that's the chassis for 2, and there is another one on the other side. This is my new prototype Wagon chassis. So the chassis itself is same as the driving truck. So it's 20 by 40 mil bars. I think it's called bars, yeah. But what I have done differently this time is, instead of fabricating using the spring mechanism in the previous model, I actually fabricated, or have these, I think it's called the W-irons, made out of 10mm mild steel. So they are all CNC cut, and the idea is that they bolt into this inner 20 by 40, and they have 3 compression springs at each axle box. So 6 compression springs on one axle. So that should give me plenty of spring tension. And actually I think it's probably a little bit too much, but because of the design Let me just move this wheel because it's not fixed yet. But because of the design, it's not fixed in place. So if I feel that this is too strong, I can just knock the middle one out. So I would left with 2 springs. Or if I want something really light, then I can just leave the middle one. So I'll just have 1 spring. So let me zoom in so you can just see it a little bit better. So the axle box is, or this bearing housing is like this one. It's the UT, I think it's the UCT type, which has this mounting on the top. And we just cut this off, this top side, and then 3 pockets were milled into this top surface, so the springs don't go anywhere. So it's probably just, I think, 3 millimeters deep and probably 1 millimeter wider than the outer diameter of the spring. So it's pretty nice because these are, you know, quite cheap. They're being manufactured by various Chinese manufacturers. So I think I paid, I don't know, probably about £4 or £5 for one. So they're really not expensive. And I probably paid around, I should probably have a title on this one because I don't quite remember. So the 3 sets of these W irons, and there are some stopper pieces at the bottom, and also the cutters were quite economical. So I mean, I think it was a reasonable price to have it laser cut instead of, you know, well, I wouldn't necessarily do it myself, but then I would have to ask my friend to, you know, help me out with some welding and some CNC milling, and it was just easier. So I probably made the drawings in a few days. I had I got the coat in a couple of days, and it was done again in a few days. So the whole thing was done maybe in a week. I mean, it took a little bit more time, but essentially this is how fast you can get this done. And they are held in place with 3 M8 bolts. So it's really simple to put it together and then take it apart as well. I just wanted to show the different pieces again. So this is how one bearing housing looks like as assembled. So it's half of an axle. You can see this moves up and down, but the spring is too strong for me to move. So this one is the W iron is 1 piece. It's a 10 mil stainless mild steel, and I have these 2 like small brackets just to keep the bearing housing here, so it doesn't get pushed out at the bottom. And yeah, they all appear to be assembled now, but I guess you get the idea. So it's basically 3 pieces and the bearing housing and the springs. And there are small notches here, so that again keeps the spring. Maybe I can show you. Yeah. So there are like these nipples in this top piece which keep the spring in place, so it doesn't move anywhere on the top. And then the pocket here just keeps them in place here. So I think it's quite simple design. And I have these for the coupling, and again it's 3 different pieces. So this mounting plate is 1 piece, and these are 1 piece again, and this one is milled to, or bored to 6.5 mil, so I can get a 6 mil rod through, and that would be the pin. And this is just a hole for the chain, so it doesn't, the pin doesn't get loose. And I have even done, I think, I don't know how it's called, tow bars, the bars, just bars, yeah. So this will go in here, and then link the engines and the carriages together. So again, quite simple design. In my original coupling, the coupling itself had some springs in it, but I think it's just a little bit overkill, so I've just gone for a simple design like this. And again, it's the welding is not mine, so it was done by my friend, but it's quite easy to assemble together if you know how to weld. So I think that will be pretty much it for the time being, and of course I need to make some new tracks and lay them in the garden, because I've done the surveying, and even though I have some gradient in the garden, I've also done some tests. So I just made like a test gradient here in the garage. Basically I just blocked up a piece of track with some wood, just to make sure that the engine can cope with the grade, and it seems to be doing just fine. So it is pretty much confirmed that my garden is able to, you know, handle or the engine can handle the grades in the garden. So it will definitely be in this garden. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But stay tuned and you will see if there is any progress. Bye.